But Russia's been enjoying the same gold window this whole time too, haven't they? They know it's been suppressed. They know the paper price is not the correct price. And I think we're just, this is just I think we're just witnessing history in the making. As you say, we all thought it was going to ultimately be China. And we thought maybe it's a few years out because they're enjoying this gold window. But Russia's been enjoying the same gold window this whole time too, haven't they? They know it's been suppressed. They know the paper price is not the correct price. And it seems like the only fools is the entire Western central bankers here. But I will say that the Bank of International Settlements, as much as they're right at the center of everything, I think they diverged from what the Fed is doing. And I think by implementing Basel III, which is definitely in play, other than what goes into the GLD, which is a joke, it's just an unallocated flywheel. Other than that, liquidity providers tell me that when they take a spot long position, they better be backed up. And so what they don't square on a daily basis, they can deliver. So I think, I say not credit to them, but BIS saw this coming, maybe not as fast and maybe not in the same way, but ultimately, regardless of geopolitics here, gold was going to rise, wasn't it?
It just needed, a catalyst to offset the massive intervention that goes on in the Western derivatives markets, right? The COMEX paper digital gold and the LBMA unallocated system. I mean, what'll really blow it up, and I saw an article yesterday, and I just kind of skimmed it. I think the author's last name is Vilches. He's been around a long time, and I've historically read a lot of stuff by him, and he does great work. And he was talking about we might start to see gold wars in the EU. That is, countries need their gold they're being kept at the Bank of England or in LBMA bank vaults. They need that gold in order to use it for transactions with Russia, China, whatever. Or they just want to have possession of it after watching the U.S. basically obliterate property rights, right? Essentially seizing Russia dollar reserves held outside of Russia. I mean, that just blows up, property rights law. And if I were running a country, European country, and I was keeping gold in LBMA vaults or at the Bank of England, I would want that gold back. Yep. And the article was saying there's going to be some real issues here if the bank vaults in London or the Bank of England are unable to deliver that gold, which is what we saw essentially happen with the U.S. and Germany, right?
Exactly what happened, Dave, when it was going to take, 7 years initially to return 300 tons? We put
Yeah, but
25
they
tons on
originally
the
wanted
plane at the
something
time.
like 650 tons back, and they
Yeah,
negotiated.
exactly. But I mean, it was like 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, initially, we all thought, no, that's a typo. That cannot be real. I mean, that, as you say, that's more than empirical evidence. That's blatantly obvious that all their reserves. Then it throws into question the quality of those reserves and whether they must be extremely rehypothecated. But to draw that much media attention onto the fact they were failing to deliver, and even if you remember, they refused to allow an inspection of the vault.
Yes, I remember that. That's what triggered the repatriation.
Yeah.
Remember that vividly.
Absolutely. So you're right. I mean, it's who's got the gold really has the power, because, as you say, really we all know, and we're all on the same side here. Fiat currencies are worthless. There's only and Putin came out. Look, I'm not taking sides here, but Putin came out and said, "You pay me in real money. Real money is gold, and that's it, or a physical commodity. That's it. That's real money."
Right.
So I was going to ask you any views on, and I've got some thoughts on it myself, but what are your views on this nickel trade blow up in the LME? Now, if you looked at that, I mean, you must have looked at that.
I mean, yeah. I haven't scrutinized all the details, but I know, what went down.
Absolutely, and even though even though you're taking accounting for that difference, these same disingenuous Western people, holier than thou people that are avoiding Russian oil, so to speak, are buying it at a premium from the Saudis and paying, and literally all they're doing is sanitizing it in a way that enables them to still get the oil. But it's just benefiting Russia. This is an unbelievable poker hand that's been played here.
Oh, I agree. Again, I think over the longer term, it's going to have just monumental ramifications for the monetary system. And I mean, just to kind of talk in the abstract, I mean, when I first got into this sector and kind of got my arms around all the issues and what was going on, it took a couple years. And I mean, I threw myself, reading everything I could for the better part of 2 years. And I had always thought that it would be China who would reset the price of gold and create a gold-backed currency. Mm-hmm. Right? And they would essentially, Russia's doing the same thing that I thought China would be doing, which is, hey, you're free to trade with us, but you have to convert your currency into yuan unless you can demonstrate that it's backed by physical gold. Now, imagine, China saying to the U.S., well, yeah, we'll sell you this electronic stuff, but if you're going to pay for dollars, we need to come and verify that your gold is there. That would never happen in a million years. The U.S. would never let that happen, right?
That's so true. And I think when you're talking about China here, you're talking about, I think, look, we've all got, there's empirical evidence, put it this way, that there must be, some people say 20,000, some people say 30,000. We figure somewhere between 25 and 30,000 unencumbered physical tons in the PBOC. But Russia, and based on 3 years of information that we've been getting from liquidity providers, we reckon it's 14,000 tons for Russia. Now, it doesn't make, I mean, why not? They've been getting it from Dubai, they've been getting it from Africa, they've been getting it from local production. It's been under the radar and it's been going on. So even if those numbers are even halved, I mean, that is more physical between, and of course, China and Russia have an alliance, a trading alliance, and between them, their official reserves dwarf, I mean, absolutely overshadow anything that all the central banks can muster together, even the US, who has nothing but rehypothecated positions. This is an amazing revaluation coming up.
I agree. It's incredible. And I guess just to kind of circle back, to connect my story about China and what I thought would happen with China, that's basically what Russia's doing, right? Yeah. They've got energy, which essentially has 100% demand inelasticity, right? I mean, people are going to pay whatever they need to pay to get a hold of energy. And they're basically saying, okay, fine. The U.S. wants to freeze our dollar assets and not allow Russia to trade in dollars. You can pay us for gold or you can pay us in rubles. And, either way, you got to, if the U.S., if countries holding dollar reserves want to buy oil from Russia and use dollars, they got to convert those into rubles. And at some point, as you pointed out, the ruble keeps strengthening versus the dollar. And that's where we're seeing the reset happen, because eventually it's going to take a lot more dollars to convert into rubles, which essentially is a monetary system reset in my book.